This is Karis Alexander with Deep Truth Media. I just wanted to do another follow-up or update with regards to this Cardinal Grand Cross and how I'm tracking my own metamorphosis and the information, the data stream that I'm being drawn to in terms of what I'm being guided to look at this particular time. I'm always keeping track of what is the information that's coming through as awareness, the awareness that I am is able to experience more of itself through the physical vehicle that I experience this illusory reality. And so the information or data that I want to discuss in this sharing is regarding this new movie, or a sequence of 2 movies that'll be coming out regarding the Hunger Games. This one that'll be coming out November the 20th is called MockingJay. Now, and the plot basically is that the main character is going to be leading forces against the elite, the aristocrats, and in order to take the aristocratic element down. I haven't seen the Hunger Games. You probably have. Many of you have. It's very popular trilogy that the masses are very in tune with in terms of its popularity. It's actually one of the highest anticipated movies to be coming out in 2014. Again, the next 2 segments will be the same story theme of taking over the aristocrats. So the major theme is dystopia. And you have to ask yourself, why would dystopian society be of interest to youth and to the parents? Because you see, you've been guided, you've been given information and data over the years that has kind of fattened you or made most of humanity ready for this type of trilogy that is playing out on the movie theater stage. But a lot of youth and adults can identify with the trilogy, the Hunger Games trilogy by the Susan Collins. And I've mentioned Susan Collins before, as I've mentioned the Hunger Games before. And Susan Collins, I no doubt believe, is part of the Collins family. One of the supposed elite families in the 13 families of the Illuminati that is well exposed and can be well read throughout the online internet conspiracy stream of data. Now, so there's no coincidences about this Susan Collins who wrote these books and the movies that are being produced on the physical world stage. So interesting, though, when I looked at Wikipedia, they had this information about how Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's going to be in the next segment, MockingJay, Hunger Games, MockingJay, and how they've already put in that Wikipedia how he died and how his scenes were done before he died. Again, all by design, and that this information is inserted in the Wikipedia. I mean, the movie hasn't even come out yet, but they're always updating Wikipedia because they're always updating this information stream, this data stream on the internet, because it's a living, unified field of consciousness. Yes, it's a living, breathing entity, this internet that connects you with this unified field of consciousness, this tool that the power control force used to manipulate you into their program. So I found that was really interesting to read that about Philip Seymour Hoffman. And if we look at the cover of the Hunger Games MockingJay, you've got the phoenix rising with the ring, the phoenix rising out of the ashes with the ring. And so that I'm not surprised to see that. Again, that symbol of death and rebirth. And this whole concept or storyline or manuscript, this data stream of dystopia. That is, only a few get to experience the joys and experiences, the paradise state on this physical plane, and everyone else is left to die, to wither away, to conform to a system, to their imprisonment. So it's interesting how this is playing out in the theater, and how I was drawn to this particular movie at this particular time, when I'm actually talking about the experience of tracking our own metamorphosis in terms of dismantling energetically this physical world system, this energetic system off us, off our biological vehicle, so that we can experience self as awareness. I find that very interesting, but yet no coincidences, just an opportunity to see how awareness is just seeping through. Awareness is seeping through this physical experience, this finite consciousness system. Awareness is seeping through. And so what you get to do, what the opportunity for you is to start creating. What are you here to do? What are the creative gifts and talents that you have within you that may be dormant, or the ideas or concepts that you have that you feel that you can express as awareness through physical form? Because this is the opportunity for you. Never before in human history has awareness had the opportunity to experience itself through physical form. The power control force know this. They know that their time is up, and that's why they're giving you or spoon-feeding you this theme, this narrative of dystopian society, because they fear that you will wake up to the knowing and truth of who you are and create a reality, a construct of your own choosing, of your own making, using the creative potential that awareness exudes. Because as awareness, you're just resting. You're resting in a constant state of paradise. And so if you come to know the truth of this, and you bear witness to what you're experiencing in this physical dimension, and come to recognize that you're being manipulated into a narrative, a script of someone else's making, someone else's choosing, that you're buying into that narrative and script, and you no longer want to buy into that narrative and script, that in fact, as you bear witness, you can say no to what you're being spoon-fed and start creating an alternate reality of your own choosing and your own making. That's the opportunity now, more so than ever. The power control force know this, and that's why they've created this narrative, this dystopian narrative, for you to buy into, because they fear that you will come to know yourself as awareness. And by God, they need to, if they are fearful, they should be. Because when awareness comes to know itself as the truth, the ultimate reality, and that it is being deceived, the power control force should be scared. They should be quivering in their socks. They should be extremely fearful, because the power, that awareness, the awareness that you are, that you wield far supersedes and exceeds any manipulation that the power control force have you under, believing that they are more powerful than you are. They have every reason to fear that you will wake up to the knowing and truth of who you are. But you also have to understand that they have designed, the designers, a way in which they want you to wake up. But they want you to wake up within their consciousness system. You know, it's very telling sign when you see that symbol of the infinity symbol. That infinity symbol is representative of consciousness, the recycling of consciousness. So the recycling of consciousness means that you can never escape consciousness. You can ascend to different levels of consciousness and supposedly reach a certain level of enlightenment. But it's so surreal and so far-fetched for many that, and that's by design, it's designed to manipulate you, that it's something that's far-reaching, that can never really be attained, that it's only for certain few, like saints, and, you know, like the two saints that were canonized yesterday in St. Peter's Square in Rome, the two popes that were canonized so quickly, where there were 500,000 people viewing this canonization of these saints, these two individuals, potentially pedophiles, that were canonized, who became saints under the guise of the Vatican, and how 500,000 people can be witness to that. 500,000 human beings who are under the consciousness program, only experiencing self as the personality aspect, believing that everything that they're being spoon-fed is real. Those 500,000 people in St. Peter's Square are under massive hypnosis. And so we just bear witness to that. We bear witness to the fact that most of humanity doesn't even have a chance. But it doesn't mean that that has to be your fate. They can be extras in your metamorphosis. That you have the potential, you have the opportunity to transcend all of this. That you have the opportunity not to buy into the physical world system, not to buy into this programmed reality, that you can acquire innate gifts and talents within yourself as you grow into yourself as awareness. And so back to this Hunger Games MockingJay. I find it so interesting, MockingJay. I find it so interesting in this trilogy how the last two segments are coming out on November 20th, the next installment, which will start the scene or the theme of the District 12 going after the aristocrats, the elite. And then it'll finish up the following year, 2015, on November 21st. Give or take the same day, the final installment will be coming out. I noticed that November the 20th and the 21st are very close to that November the 15th date that I talked about with Lawrence Tish and his brother Bob Tish, and you know the family, the elite family in New York that I worked for. That's worth about $21 billion, and how these two brothers died 1 year apart on that day. And that day, November 15th, was the day that Heinrich Himmler, which was an SS commander, started the concentration camps, the Holocaust. Again, dates and numbers are very important to the power control force. And one thing I'm realizing as well is that even with these movies, the production of these movies, the dates in which they film these movies happens on the days on these occultations or on these very specific alignments or on specific dates. So even the films themselves and their production is under the ritual, the spell, because the ritual or everything that we experience in the physical dimension is under this type of a ritual. It's a spell, and the spell is cast on the masses. The consciousness system is experienced by all of us, and for the majority of us who experience this physical dimension are only experiencing it through the five sense personality and the ego aspect. And that is what is dismantling. It's this ego aspect. And so what you're probably noticing is that a number of people are around you are having erratic behavior. They're somewhat going insane, or their behavior is so off, it's out of the norm. Yes, people are literally going insane around you. And that's this dismantling that I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is experiencing it as awareness, the higher order of what is potentially possible for you to step out of this reality matrix, this illusory reality matrix, and create a construct, a reality matrix of your own choosing, your own making, and start creating a world in which you want to be living in, the paradise state in which you are designed to be living in. You see, when I experience self as awareness in my paradise state, the power control force are not a part of my reality. The physical world system that I'm witnessing is not a part of my reality as awareness. In this reality construct of awareness, the physical world experience is not a part of my reality construct. So this is the opportunity, is that it's not about denying what's going on in the physical world stage or becoming indifferent or ignorant to what's happening on the physical world stage. It's that you have the opportunity now to have choice as to whether you participate or not in the narrative, the script that's being played out on most of humanity through this consciousness system, this all these intellectual systems. And so there is a choice here now, where there has never been a choice before, that you have the opportunity to choose whether you want to participate within the narrative that's being spoon-fed to you, or if you want to create as awareness through the creative potential that is your divine right. And so as awareness, you are sacred. You are a sacred being, if you want to call yourself a being. But again, awareness is beyond any type or sense of being. As awareness, you're just resting. You're resting in a constant state of paradise. As awareness, you are respectful. There's such dignity and respect. You are exalted. You are sovereign. You are free. You are mature. You understand the infantile nature of this existence, and that humanity is kept in a perpetual state of infancy in order to manipulate its essence as awareness. You understand that awareness is malleable, is vulnerable, can be easily seduced. You know the truth of this, and why awareness finds itself in the predicament that it does in human form. This physical world experience was an experiment that has gone bad. That is the truth. And there are repercussions for those who thought that they could take awareness and make it into and mold it into what they want, manipulate awareness. There are repercussions for those that have the designers that have done the unthinkable. They have taken awareness and used it and abused it for their own making and choosing. There are repercussions, and so we are seeing what those repercussions are, and that many will go insane. Many will leave this planet, and the power control force will lose their power and control. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I want to let you know that now is the opportunity for you to dismantle this physical, energetic matrix off of you and come to know self as awareness. Explore and experience the totality of who and what you are as awareness, and create the expression, create scenes, create events, create community that exudes the expression of your paradise state. You are to create events, to create scenes, to create a utopia of your own choosing and making. And this is not some new age airy-fairy thing. This is very real. This is something that you can manifest within your reality. I thank you so much for tuning in. It truly is a wonderful time. The energies yesterday were so powerful. We did have that planetary alignment on Friday, the 25th. And as a result, we are experiencing these wonderful energies. Embrace the energies. It's an opportunity for you to dismantle this matrix off of you. Engage the shadow work, that those aspects of yourself that are coming up for review that you are hiding from. Those are the areas that the areas that you don't like about yourself. Those areas that you feel that are unworthy of your attention, or that you feel less than because of these aspects of yourself that you have denied. Embrace those aspects of you, because those are the aspects of you that will free you from the confines of this physical world system. I thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.